All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me for Travel Info Night about our upcoming 2024 and 25 cruises. I am Claudette, a meetup organizer, several meetups, but I also run Claudette Travels travel agency. And actually, I became a travel agent because I was doing events with Meetup. And so here, let me just move on to the next slide if I can. There we go. So just to give you a little background on me, several people know me through Meetup. I post a lot of events through different groups. But as far as my travel background, I started traveling when I was in high school. I went to China, then went to Japan afterwards. I got into corporate travel in 2000, lived in Europe or went to Europe for my first time when the world was supposed to end, the first time in 2012. And if I didn't have the travel bug by then, I definitely did after that. I came back, I decided, oh, I got to start doing travel groups. So had my Bon Voyage group on Meetup in 2013. We went to Cabo for Thanksgiving. Excellent trip. And looking to go back to Cabo for my birthday in May. So you're invited once I get that all get together. Got to go to Africa in 2017, which is a trip that I recommend to anyone and everyone. Then I lived in Europe for a couple of years singing opera. Yep, I'm an opera singer, so you might hear me sing from time to time. And then when I came back from Europe, I decided to become a travel agent officially. And I've been to 30 countries in 25 states, and I speak 12 foreign languages and been working extensively on French recently. And this is just, a lot of people, you can easily become a travel agent, but then there's a lot of training that you do. So these are the accreditations that I have, and I've narrowed it down just to the cruise lines that I work with. So you can see I kind of know what I'm talking about just a little bit. And then people talk about in this day and age, why do I need a travel agent? Because I can book it online or I can go directly to the cruise line and such. However, working with a travel agent, especially with what I do at Meetup, not only do you have the peace of mind and have somebody there to guide you every step of the way if you need it, I'm able to bring you extras that you wouldn't be able to get on your own. And I have groups set up, and so we have those extras, special pricing, special perks, and then you have somebody that's hosting on the cruises. So you're not by yourself. You have somebody that's arranging the dinner when the group gets together for entertainment, and you have a group together to go out dancing or do things with. So that's something a little extra nice than going out on your own. So just diving right into the groups or the cruises that we have on the calendar. With my travel agency, we work with on a consortia called Ensemble, and they had a hosted cruise program. And I am super excited that I've been selected to host four cruises between this year and next year. And the first one is coming up next month, and there's still time to book on that one, where it's the Colors of Provence River Cruise with Ama Waterways. So we start in Lyon and then we travel down to Arles, and you have the option to come in a few days early and spend time in Paris. And then you have a transfer included in the package to get you to Lyon. And then after the cruise is ended, if you are not ready to go back home and you want to spend more time in Europe, you can go when, to Madrid in Spain. There we go. And so I'm just giving a high view. You can go on to Meetup and see the different details and the price and options, but I just wanted to give you an overview. And this is a really neat one. I haven't done a river cruise. Super excited to do this. They have a chef's table. You've got beverages. The gratuities are already included or prepaid. And one of the things with it being a hosted cruise is that I'm there to host a cocktail party and any special excursions. This one, the excursions are included, so you get the prepaid gratuities included for the host. And the hosted cruises, I have to disclose that we do need to have a certain number of people participating on those or are booked into the group. And if we don't, then you get some special credits. So if you're interested in any of these ensemble hosted cruises, ask me about any of the particulars if for some reason we don't have enough people. And I have these two together, even though they're the first and the last ones on the list. These were the first ones I was assigned. So the next one is a 10-day Western Caribbean cruise. And if you haven't cruised on Holland, we do our repositioning or overnight cruises between Seattle and Vancouver on Holland. Totally fun ships, and I'll get into more of that. This is a really neat one because it does include the excursion, and we have like a very special excursion, and it's in the details of this trip. But we're going to a particular manor in Kingston, I want to say, that is a specially curated package. So it's not an excursion that you would be able to put together on your own. And this is a longer cruise. Actually, this will be one of my personal longest cruises because I've only done up to 7 days. So I'm looking forward to 10 days. And Holland does a really good job of pampering you. So if you are looking to get away and be pampered and be well taken care of and be warm, I'm looking forward to this for next winter. And these are the other two ensemble hosted cruises. I was fortunate to be selected to do two Alaska cruises this summer, one in July and one in August. Again, disclosure, the July one is filling up very quickly. So if you are dead set to go to Alaska in July, hop on that one right away. And I didn't mention this for the Caribbean cruise, but the Caribbean cruise and these two Alaska are all three on Holland, and they're offering a 200 onboard cabin credit if you put down your deposit by today. Sorry, this is the last. Well, it's not last minute. It's been up on the calendar, but for anyone that's interested. And the nice thing is that the cruise deposits are refundable up until the final payment date. There's just $100 non-refundable booking deposit. So if you are looking to get in on one of these cruises and especially get in on that $200 cabin credit, even if you're on the fence, I would suggest getting in your booking form and get your deposit. I can get that taken care of for you tonight. So yeah, check out the itinerary. If you have not been to Alaska, Alaska, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I did two Alaska cruises last year, one in May and then one in July. And people always ask, when's the best time to go to Alaska? Um, this will be my first time going in August, and I hear you get to see a little bit more of the mosquitoes. But, everybody's talking about how, oh yeah, the state bird of Alaska is the mosquito. I didn't see any mosquitoes when I was there in May or July, maybe in August. So we'll see. But it's great. And in the shoulder season or in the spring, I thought it was a great time. And then because it hadn't warmed up so much, I think we got to see a lot more glaciers than we would later on. But the weather is so weird the last few years. We'll see. But yeah, we've got Glacier Bay, Icy Point, Sitka, Ketchikan, which I've been to a couple of times. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. Great places to visit on land. I actually in Juneau's on this itinerary, got to go sea kayaking at the base of Glendenhall Glacier or Mendenhall Glacier. And it was just stunning. How often do you get to say, I went kayaking in Alaska? And of course, they've got the sled dock camps. And for the fishermen out there, you can go out deep sea fishing. Oh, and of course, it's Alaska. It's Pacific Northwest. Well, we in the Pacific Northwest, we know, but whale watching. Yeah, so you can go and see the orcas. You can see the gray whales. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And on the Alaska tour or the Alaska cruise, the hosted cruise, we have a wildlife excursion that's included and something extra and a cocktail party. And these ensemble cruises or hosted cruises are the same price as a regular cruise. You just get extras. So having the host and the extra excursion and the cocktail party, the same price if you have booked it on your own, but without these extras. All right. So now I'm going into the Pacific Northwest cruises, and I hope you can see, oops, too far. Um, I have been doing these Pacific Northwest cruises, oh gosh, 14 years now. One of the members in one of my meetup groups told me about this, and I had no idea they had an overnight cruise between Seattle and Vancouver. And I went and I got hooked. They are super, super fun. Um, And in the fall, or sorry, in the spring, we start in Vancouver. So we'll take the train or the bus up, spend the night in Vancouver. So we'll like get together, have dinner, have a couple of places that I like up there, but always willing to explore. And then we take the cruise back. And I call it the overnight party cruise. It's the one that's in the middle on May 3rd to 4th. And I call it the overnight party cruise because that's what we do. We have a sail away party where you can usually find me in the hot tub. They have like special meals, and then we'll get together as a group. People can go to the show. They have a piano bar, but inevitably everybody winds up at the nightclub, and the BB King Blues Club is awesome. Great, always great live bands there. And last time we went in the fall, yeah, people were up partying until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, get your rest before you go. But uh, a couple of years ago, they actually started doing multi-night Pacific Northwest cruises, which they didn't necessarily do before. They might have had several one-night cruises, like one every weekend for like 3 or 4 weeks, and or around the weekends, I should say. And just recently, I noticed they started doing multi-night cruises. So like the 4-night long weekend Pacific Northwest cruise. I actually did this last year, and it's round trip out of Vancouver. Um, it's a wonderful time going down to Astoria if you're into hiking and outdoors, and as well as a little bit of pampering. This is a great cruise to go on. There's some actually great hiking excursions for you to go on while in Astoria, and just or exploring Vancouver. We did the iFly, no, not iFly, where you are in a simulated uh ride and flying over Canada. It was awesome, and they had spray like when you were going through the clouds. I would do it again, and they do things for different seasons. It was a lot of fun, and I have that actually noted in the meetup or Facebook page as well as on the website. And then there's one for Mother's Day weekend. So this is in May. It's a 3-night cruise, and that's on Princess, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Princess. And because I love the water and I love sea creatures, I'm kind of build this up as a sea safari weekend, so we can go out and do whale watching. And this is nice because it starts in Vancouver, we stop in Victoria and end in Seattle. So if you haven't been to Victoria in a while, this is a great way to go. And even if you've been to Vancouver, there's just so much to see. But before I get into all of that, I know a lot of people will go, why should I do a 1 or 3, 4 night cruise when I can do a week-long cruise? And well, here, I'll just have Holland give you a little introduction here. So, welcome back. Um, Sorry, let me get back to my screen share. I also like to build these as let me get this back, as foodie events, because the food on this ship is really good. When we did the overnight cruise last fall, we had to pay a little extra, but we could do lobster, I think there was crab, and the food is just absolutely outstanding. And um, we had a really good time with that. So let me go to the next screen. Let's see if it lets me move. I did do a test beforehand. It's like, what do they say? Best laid plans and all of that. Let's see. Come on. Yes, there we go. All right. So in the fall, so I should say these overnight or these short Pacific Northwest cruises right now, it's between Holland and Princess. And so they're very comparable lines. Each one wants to pamper you, but they might do it in different ways. Um, and then Holland is actually a really fun ship. I'm a big fan of the BB King Blues Club, and they have the Rolling Stones Blues Club or Rolling Stones Rock Club, which I haven't experienced yet, but still, you're going to have great live musicians. And in the fall, then we start in Seattle and head up to Vancouver. And that makes it really nice because if you want to spend extra time in Vancouver and explore spots that you haven't been to before, you have that luxury of doing it during the day because we arrive really early and I'm not a morning person. So I feel those who are not, I mean, we usually arrive about 7 a.m. and have to be off the ship by 9 or 10 p.m. Um, and then yeah, so we have actually several options. We have, well, 6 of these short Pacific Northwest cruises. One right over Labor Day, so you get to take, enjoy the holiday and a weekend. And I think there's like, we arrive back on a Tuesday. And then we have another overnight cruise. And that one is actually over a weekend because a lot of the overnight cruises I've seen would be a Friday to Saturday or a Sunday to Monday. And this one is right square dab in the middle of the weekend, a Saturday to Sunday. So you can really enjoy your weekend. But because it is over the weekend, it's actually around the same price as the 2-night cruise that happens a little less than a week later. One's on Holland and the other one's on Princess. And both, oddly enough, it's not going to take 2 days to get to Vancouver from Seattle. So, and we did something like this last year, and we're doing some sea days. And that one is really for you to enjoy the ship. So, if you're looking for a quick local getaway just to relax and be pampered and see some shows and hit the nightclubs and enjoy some fine dining, that's also a really good option. And Princess also does something a little extra for you where they offer the Princess Plus package, and they also the Princess Plus Premium. So it gives you a little bit extra for things that you want to do already for the price of what some other cruise lines charge for a drink package. Unfortunately, at this time, Holland does not offer any of those type of packages, but that's okay. It can work out in the end. So, but let me have Princess tell you a bit. If I can get to the next screen. Let me touch on the screen. Let's see. There we go. Let me have Princess actually explain Princess Plus. Sorry about that. I was checking questions and I didn't realize it was going to interrupt the video. Oh yeah, and so while I'm talking, I'm just kind of doing this like as a webinar, giving some information. I'll have questions at the end where I'll unmute everybody. But if you want to type in your questions in the chat, I will address it in the Q&A unless it's something that I can come up with during if that's relevant in the part of the webinar that I'm doing. So we're already looking into 2025. A lot of cruise lines are starting to do their cruises or putting cruises out in 26. And so right now we've got Holland in the spring. They're doing an encore of their long weekend cruise between a round trip from Vancouver to Astoria and then the overnight. And I got to say, for those who have not done a round trip out of Vancouver, it is actually it's really nice. Where the one-way cruises, you have to take a bus up. You can't drive up because you can't leave. You're not going to be leaving your car in Vancouver. But the drive up is really nice. There are lots of different hotels. Well, when you have your car, you can deal with your. You can basically have a hotel anywhere. But I have some hotels that I put together for the group, and there's parking right down by the terminal. I did this, and the parking, even though it's high in Canadian dollars, the exchange rate, and actually it is lower than if you were to park at SeaTac, for example. Very, very reasonable. So that's why I like to put that 4-night cruise up there just for that option because it's a lot more convenient, I think. So yeah, so we're already looking at, I'm working on the details and getting those posted. So shooting to get those up by the weekend or by the end of the weekend or beginning of or early next week. So if you're looking at 2025, prices are really good for that. And I mentioned multiple times about the BB King Blues Club. So I want you to experience this or have a little taste. Well, I did say a little taste, didn't I? All right. There we go. Well, I'll talk about this. So one of the things I like to do with all of my travel packages beyond cruises is offer a wellness toolkit. I am partnered with my friend Andrew. He runs Rise Acupuncture and Wellness Clinic, and he has put together a wellness toolkit for you so you can make sure you're in top condition before you go on the cruise, stay that way while you're on the cruise, and when you return. So that's a little extra that I give to everyone that books into one of our group meetup and Facebook cruises. And then I know a lot of people think, oh, it's just a short cruise, it's just a couple $100s, but I do offer travel insurance with travel insurance companies. These are the 3 partners that I work with. The cruise ships offer a cruise cancellation policy, but if you want to include, your bus, the hotel, your excursions, and have all of that covered, talk to me. I can get you a very good quote. And for those who travel a lot, I would highly recommend getting an annual travel insurance plan. I have that as a travel agent, and it's just really nice. And it's actually really, really economical. I was able to get one for somewhere around $100. So yeah, it's just nice to have that peace of mind. Um, and then for those who do like to travel as much as I do, and as much as I travel, there's so many more people who travel more than I do. You can cruise like a travel agent. I am fortunate to be working with the host agency, American Travel Bureau, who allows people to sign up to be travel agent and don't require them to sell travel or have any minimums or anything like that. And then they give their membership for not just you, but you and a +1, so you both can get travel agent credentials. And so what that gets you is that you can book any travel at just about any travel, I should say, at net rates. I say just about because there are some that don't offer net rates that you have to add on to it, but it's in the terms of cruises, you would be able to book these cruises, even the ones that I've been talking about, and just pay the net rate instead of the gross rate. And if you want to put a little bit more into it, Princess and Cunard offer training, and once you finish the training, they will send you on a cruise. They give you a whole list, and we're talking about short cruises to gosh, I even want to say at least like a 2 or 3 week cruise, if not longer, that you can go on for free. Free being the cruise fare, you would have to pay for taxes, port fees, and gratuities separately, but still, you can get like a $5,000 cruise and you're paying just a few $100s in taxes and such. So that's a really super neat perk. And then American Travel Bureau also gives you discounted CLIA membership, which happens around December. And with that, then you can tap into the friends and family rates. you get specially discounted, heavily discounted travel agent rates, and you can get additional free cruises. I mentioned I went to Alaska twice last year, and one was in May, and that happened to be a free cruise in on Norwegian. And it happened to be over my birthday and Mother's Day, and I got to take my mom, and oh, they treated us so nicely. We got beverage package and all sorts of things. So we got 10 minutes left on the Zoom. I am going to see if I can unmute. Oh, I'm going to ask people for them to unmute themselves to go ahead and ask questions. So that was my presentation. Thank you. Oh, and I do have QR codes up here. So if you want to go ahead and scan these just to go to all of the upcoming cruises or the Pacific Northwest cruises, but they're also on the meetup page. And then I have like all the groups, my main groups that I have in Claudette Travels, or if you just go to bit.ly/Claudette Travels, you can see all of the cruises as well as some other trips. So while I'm waiting for people to ask, someone asked, are there some people traveling up from the Tacoma area I can go with? Um, yeah, message me directly one-on-one. I do know of some people in Tacoma looking to go, and you can probably go with them, but it depends on, when they plan on going. But yeah, there's like the train and bus options that you can do from Tacoma, and then we can all connect in Vancouver. Oh, and if you don't have a Canada calling plan, check with your cell phone carrier. I know T-Mobile has like the whole North America that's all in one plan, so that makes it really nice so we can communicate. And then that was MJ. Dan, is the Bahamas or Caribbean part of the United States? Are there cruises to these destinations? Yes, they are. There are cruises. However, they are not territories like Puerto Vallarta, or sorry, when I say Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Rico, or the U.S. Virgin Islands. So you would need to have a passport to go there. Now, you'll need a passport to go to like the Caribbean, the Bahamas. However, the repositioning cruises that we have with Canada and the Alaska cruises, because they stop in Canada, you can go with an enhanced driver's license. Believe this is only available to Washington state residents because we're a border state. It may extend to Oregon residents. So if you live outside of Washington, you want to know about that, feel free to get in touch with me afterwards. And because it is cruising, you can even get away with a certified birth certificate and a state ID or driver's license. But again, that's probably going to be limited to Washington State, maybe Oregon residences, but get in touch and I can let you know or look into that more for you. So does anyone else have any questions? Oh, and I know we just had some people join us. I'll make sure that everybody is available to unmute and ask questions. So I will be doing a recording, or this is being recorded. I will post the recording on the meetup and also on bit.ly/Claudette Travels. So you can go back and look at this or share it with friends. And just about all of the cruises I talked about, except for the 2025 cruises, are on the website, on Meetup, on Facebook, and I'll be getting the 2025 ones up. I'm really close to getting those posted. So yeah, they should be up by the end of the weekend, if not early in the week. So any questions? I know I talked fast because I didn't time myself and I wanted to make sure I got through everything, and which it looks like I did. Yeah, anybody have a question?
How much are those Alaska cruises, Claudette?
Ooh, good question. Let me check here really quick. I'll just give like the starting prices, and you can see the detail of the prices on the different groups or the website, because I'll have pricing for
Okay.
the yeah, I have like the starting price for the inside cabins, and then they'll have outside balconies and such. But here, I should have had that handy, but let me go ahead and do that now.
And then I would also be looking for female roommates.
Yeah, I used to have a page where I would have people to connect with roommates, but nobody really seemed to use it, so I stopped doing that.
Okay,
However, I've been doing like, we can connect, or you can, if you go on the page and you see other people that have RSVP'd, you can connect or post a comment and I can share that with other people so they can contact you through Meetup. So through Meetup messages. So it's not like
okay,
I'm going to be giving out your email or phone number to or post it for the public to see. So, uh,
okay,
but yeah, let me look this up because I do want to give you accurate amount instead of my guess. So I'm working on
okay,
a lot of different cruises. Let's see. I just know that I'll give you the quote for the one in August, since that one has the better pricing and more availability. And the cabins will start, and I do my pricing per cabin and based on single occupancy. The difference is that if you have two people in the room or the cabin, you might be splitting the cost and then you just each have to pay the taxes and port fees. So the rates are starting about $2,100, and then you want to add in 364 for taxes and port fees plus the $100 booking deposit. And
okay,
yeah, and yeah, so like if you wanted to get in on the 200 onboard cabin credit, let me see if I have where it says what the deposit is. Yeah, I mean you get a lot, you're getting a lot extra than what the other people are getting. But let me see what the whole deposit is. Do I even have it? I know I have it on the meetup page. I want to say it's like 250 um for the deposit. Yeah, so if you did that tonight, then you would get the 200 onboard credit. So that's kind of a nice thing there.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and
All
inside
right.
cabins are nice because a lot of people go, well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time in my cabin. I know I will spend a lot of time in my cabin, or at least just want to wake up and be able to open up the door. When I did my first week-long Alaska cruise, I was able to open up and go on the balcony and hear the water
Yeah,
brushing up
yeah.
against the glaciers. Oh, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, my pleasure. And even if you've been to Alaska before, um, it's just so worth it going to the different ports and just seeing the different life. And sorry, got a friendly cat here in the background, so she has to chime in. I mentioned seafood, I guess, and she got all excited. So if it were my cat, she would be on the camera because she just loves, she's a camera cat for sure.
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
and
Thanks,
anyone
Claudette.
else, but I'm gonna look up the deposit here for you.
Okay.
Let's see. It's so weird doing this on my cell phone versus on the laptop. Here we go. And I got 1 minute left, so we're doing good. Let's see. Deposits 275.
Okay.
275 per person. So even if it's single occupancy, it's still 275
Okay.
or 550 for two people.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, here in my less than 1 minute, I will give you a little sneak preview. I'm working on putting together a trip where we are going island hopping in the Greek Isles on a catamaran. So I've been trying to do this cruise for many years, over 5 years. So hopefully getting that together. And then in the future, I'm looking at doing island hopping on a cruise. I mean, I love cruising. I like being on the water, but the idea of island hopping where you only have to pack and unpack once and you have a ship as your floating hotel is appealing to me as well as a lot of other people. So that's something I'm looking to do. And then for those who like to stay on land, I will be doing another one of these presentations about some land options, Mexico, but also looking at